Everyone. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Instagram. I hope you guys had an amazing Labor Day. I'm just gonna let you guys trickle in. Um, Trickle in. I hope I'm on the right live. Okay, yeah, I am. Um, Good morning, guys. Good morning. I hope everyone had an amazing Labor Day. I had a very busy night last night. For those who are fans of Tiwa Savage, I was at a Tiwa Savage concert last night. It was amazing. She had everybody there from Wande Cole to Spiral. It was wonderful. If you guys know Tiwa Savage, say drop a dance emoji and let me know that you know Tiwa Savage. Good morning, all. Yes, good morning. Good morning. If this is your first time, um, definitely comment. Let me know it's your first time. Let me know where you're tuning in from. For those of you meeting me for the first time, my name is Aisha Chidole. I'm an immigration lawyer and I represent clients all over the United States and internationally with a family and humanitarian based immigration here to the United States. So we handle all types of cases, not all cases, but a lot of types of cases. So marriage-based, family-based, VAWA, U visas, T visas, naturalization, conditional green card, motions to reopen, appeals and stuff like that. Um, so if you are one of those, definitely call me. Oh, from Dallas. Good morning. Good morning, Chef Pascal. Bojani says first time. Good morning. Good morning from New York as well. You guys just jump right into it. Today, days after holidays are very, very busy. So I'm going to try and get to as many questions as I can within the time I have so I can jump right into work. D for granted said, "You're a blessing to my life." Oh my God, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Root Chitty says, "Oh my God, Tiwa." Yes, Tiwa. And her voice is amazing. Like, she sounds so good. It was so good. I don't know how these celebrities perform on stage and just dance and dance. And, it requires so much energy. So hats off to them. JLSCD, this is your first time too. Good morning. John from Florida, good morning. Hi, Adelala. Adelala says, good morning, Immigration Group. That's also a badass family attorney. So if you are going through a divorce and you're in New York, hit her up. ASD Law, that is her Instagram page. Olubumi watching for the first time live. Good morning. Bom dia from Brazil and America. Good morning, Columbus, Ohio. Juve says, where are you based? My office is here in Atlanta, Georgia, but we represent clients all over the United States. Immigration is federal law, so your location does not matter. As long as you're trying to immigrate to the United States, we can help you regardless of location. Jada says, can immigration take back your 10-year green card if you applied for citizenship with your spouse but don't live together? It all depends, on why they'll be taking back your green card. So if the question is this, can your green card be taken away from you? Yes, it can, but it has to be for something that makes you not eligible for the green card, or if you obtain the green card through fraud or whatever the case may be, or you were never supposed to get the green card. So if you apply for citizenship and you don't live with your spouse, without knowing more about your case, it just means that you're not eligible to apply for citizenship based on your spouse. Because in order for you to apply for citizenship based on your spouse, you need to be in marital union. Now, immigration cannot tell you that you cannot become a citizen because you and your spouse don't work out. So as long as you had a legitimate relationship and you guys are just not in marital union, it just means you're not eligible, and then you probably have to wait 5 years. So, and I'm just giving you surface just because I don't know what else is going on in your own particular case. So that's why I'm just giving you surface stuff. Someone asked, can immigration take back DACA or green card if one applies for state government benefits? once you once you get your green card, state government benefits is no more a point in contention. That's usually prior to you getting your green card that it's an issue. So you definitely want to show with DACA, when you have DACA, you haven't yet applied for green, assuming you have DACA and you don't have your green card, you're still going to go through the green card application process. So it's usually at the green card stage that they're checking to see public charges, is the government going to be responsible for you and all of those things. But after your green card, you're fine. However, if you do take public benefits that immigration doesn't want you to take, unfortunately, whoever is sponsoring you or whoever did your financial affidavit of support might become liable or to pay back. So, you definitely want to be considerate and mindful of that when you are, taking any kind of support. Okay. Sheila Casanova said, I love the great work you're doing. Continue doing good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Africana says, what can I do if my I-485 is denied because USCIS didn't receive my request for evidence in time? I also got my work permit. Should I refile the entire case over or open a motion to reconsider? Without a consultation, I can't really tell you to, because for some people, it would make more sense for them to refile. And for other people, it would make more sense for them to reopen the case. I mean, has your I-130 been approved? Do you need to work? Whatever it is, because, I know you have on here, like you just got your work permit, but you do know that when your I-485 is denied, within 18 days, basically, of that denial, your work permit is no longer valid. And if you do a motion to reconsider, you still can't work. Your work permit is not valid. So sometimes it's better for you to just reapply. But again, it all really depends on what exactly your RFE was and what they were asking for. So it's, and this is where we always say, immigration is not just about form, it is very strategic, because you have to really analyze an applicant or what application you're putting to help guide in what is the best decision for them. Okay. Jacqueline Heron says, good morning to my favorite lawyer. You are changing my life. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank God. Let's see. If your interview was waived for your 2-year green card, do you think the 10-year green card will be approved without an interview? It's unlikely unless you have just a lot of evidence. Well, let me not say it's unlikely. I don't know, actually. I don't know, because every officer operates differently. But I can tell you that if you have a 2-year green card that was waived, you got to make sure that you and your spouse are good, by your 10-year, because at that time, if you're no longer good, then they're really going to dig into your case. So as long as you and your spouse are good, even if they call you for an interview, it shouldn't be something that you're worried about, and you shouldn't just get your 2-year green card and feel that, well, I've gotten my green card, we don't need to document anything. You just have to always document your marriage, because when you go to USCIS doesn't know you and your spouse. So the only way that they can approve you of something is through documentation. So it's just really important to be good about keeping your paperwork or things that tie you guys together to show that the marriage is a legitimate marriage. Okay. Chum says, I have a male friend who's undocumented. His girlfriend is American, but has been locked up 3 times. One reason for the lockup is armed robbery. If they should get married, will her past arrest affect him? Technically, when USCIS is looking at criminal records with applications, they're more concerned with the immigrants' arrest history. However, if there's anything that a petitioner did that falls under what we call Adam Walsh Act, then that becomes a potential problem. So Adam Walsh Act is basically, any criminal records related to like child abuse, child molestation, and stuff like that. So if armed robbery is what it is, that wouldn't fall under it. So you just want to make sure, make sure that his girlfriend doesn't have anything like that on there. Okay. YouTube, Marcus says, does the IRS always request more evidence before denying your valid case? Do you mean USCIS? I'm assuming you probably mean USCIS. Not necessarily, and this is something that happens with each administration. It's very different. And while we're on the topic of this, before I answer your question, let me repeat again. Guys, we have an election coming up in 2024. If you've been in this country long enough, you understand or know that election is one single-handed thing that causes the most stress to immigrants and immigration lawyers. Why? Because immigration is a political tool that both parties are going to use side by side. So you never know what you're going to be eligible for. If you're eligible for something, you want to submit your application immediately, because don't waste time, because you don't know what and who next or what the laws will be. So in answering Marcus's question, which is does the USCIS always request for more evidence before denying your valid case? In this current administration, most likely they will request for more evidence, or they will send you a notice of intent to deny, which will give you a 30-day window to respond as to why they shouldn't deny you. In the previous administration, for instance, it was at their discretion. So basically, 50% of people, officers will just deny you. If you have something that's missing in your application, deny. If you have something that's not enough to make a decision, deny. Basically, they were doing you a favor getting an RFE. So what am I trying to tell you here? I'm trying to tell you basically that time is not your friend. Submit your application. If you're on the cusp, you're doing analysis paralysis just because you don't know what's going to happen in the next few. Okay, John Colliday says, I filed for VAWA in January. I did my biometrics in June. I only got my proof of FASHI notice. Congrats. Please, when is my APEAD likely to arrive from USCIS? Well, I don't know. Did you submit an adjustment of status application? If you submitted an adjustment of status application, you're looking at anywhere from window is like 4 to 9 months on average. So you should be in the window if you did submit one, where hopefully you'll get your adjustment, your EAD, maybe this month and next month. If you don't get it, then maybe you can do an inquiry to see what's going on. Okay. Okay, can a child 21 years old sponsor a parent that came here in 1999 on a fiance visa but didn't marry the fiance? The answer is technically they can. However, the parent cannot adjust here in the United States. So there's a very big penalty for people who come here in a K-1 fiance visa and don't marry the person that petitioned for them. What that means for you is that you cannot adjust your status here in the United States. So while the child can file for them, they have to then get a hardship waiver and then come back in that way. However, the qualifying relatives for that parent must be either their own parent as a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, or them having a spouse that's a U.S. citizen or green card holder. So it's a little bit complicated, and it's really one of the worst situations, being in that situation. So again, we need more to be able to give more, but on the surface, no, they cannot adjust their status. Good morning. How are you? My husband filed for me and does not want to finish up. What can I do? Please, Sunshine 7255, call me 407-995-6567. I will be happy to screen you to see if you're eligible or if you qualify for that, because typically when we get questions like that, there's usually some sort of telltale sign that there may be some abuse going on, and I'll be happy to screen you to see if you qualify. Okay. Gosh, it's like I click questions and they're all whose question was I looking at? Let me just this one. If I get fees waived for the I-485 and I filed an EAD since January but didn't get a receipt from USCIS and now want to refile a new EAD, will I have to pay for it? Does my waiver cover it? I'm not really sure I understand your question, but generally, if you waive your I-485, If you get a waiver, generally when you're filing for a new EAD, you must pay a filing fee. So if that's your question, that's the answer. Um, okay. Good morning, Aisha, ma'am. I applied for for my sister 8 years before. I did not receive my approval notice yet. Please reply me. That's normal, Nadia, that you've not received your approval. Sibling petitions take anywhere from 16 to 18 years. And then, depending on what country you're from, it could even take longer. So it just depends on what country you're from. They're the last category of family preference. So basically the lowest preference. So, it takes a long time. And usually you won't get an I-130 approval till closer to your visa bulletin being available. So you still have quite a bit of years. 8 years is really not a long time. As of this morning, I'm officially divorced from my abusive wife, and thanks to you, I'm currently doing VAWA and I have my work permit. Thanks for everything and the continual. Oh, you're welcome, and hopefully this is a start of something new for you. And moving on with your life. I mean, nobody enters marriage wishing that something bad will happen to them, or they'll be abused, or they'll get divorced. But when those things happen, it's good to know that you have an option and that you don't have to stay in bondage. Okay. Can you apply for valid based on emotional and financial issues? Absolutely. Physical abuse is not the only form of abuse. Abuse shows itself in marriages and relationships in many forms. Gaslighting is a form of abuse, is a form of emotional abuse. There's a lot of psychological abuse, that women and men deal with when in relationships. There's legal abuse of the legal system and your lack of knowledge of it, abuse of technology, spouses who bully their spouses or parents or children, and post stuff on social media that's humiliating to them or about them. There's sexual abuse, there's financial abuse, there's physical abuse that doesn't include someone punching you in the face. I mean, for instance, if someone is depriving you of health insurance knowing that you're sick, or the ability to pay for a medical exam or something like that, that's physical abuse, especially when they're your spouse and they have the means to do that for you. So that's an example of physical abuse that's not physically someone punching you in the face and stuff like that, you know? My husband is a petitioner for my son who lives in Jamaica. Can I submit my documents to the NVC seen as I am now a citizen? Your husband is a petitioner, not you. So your husband's documents are what needs to be submitted. Now, if you're saying that you and your husband are having issues and he can no longer continue, then we definitely need to have a consultation because you would have to do your own application for your son. Vishal says, can 12-year age difference make it difficult? 12-year on what side? The man or the woman's side? If a man is 12 years older than the woman, generally, hate to say it, but it's not really something that anyone bats an eye about. But if it's the other way around, where the woman is 12 years older, even though to be honest, to me, 12 years in the world of immigration is really not that long. It's really not that much compared to we've seen like 40 years, we've seen like 75 and 27. So what's that, like 50 years, almost 50 years? So it could, with a 12-year, make sure they're looking at your application to make sure that you guys do have stuff in common and you guys do have a legitimate marriage. And, is this something, especially if you come from a culture where this is frowned upon or is not common? So they could look at all those things, but it absolutely doesn't mean that you'll get denied as long as you can prove that your marriage is a legitimate marriage and, you have all those things, then you can. Chrissy says, my vow was approved, received my C31 EAD and also my CEAD. Then a couple days after I received my 10-year green card with no interview, I received all 3 green cards one time. Woo, woo, woo. Congratulations, Chrissy. That is so awesome. And congratulations. Okay. Um, Last question, I gotta jump off. What if you are in the country without a landing? How can you go about that? Because that question is too broad. You know, what? How can you go about what? Like, did anyone file for you? I need a little bit more. Okay. T visa. Coyote in Mexico threatened my friend 18 years ago while in process to cross USA. Is he eligible for a T visa? Without more, no. You know, a T visa is really about human trafficking or labor trafficking. Basically, that you're here on the account of a trafficker or you remain here on the account of a trafficker. You know, you will suffer extreme hardship if you go back home. You know, so one would need to screen your friend, you know, to see if they're eligible for them. Okay. Hey guys, I really have to jump off, but I will be on Friday. Just hold on. Let me check my schedule before I commit to Friday, this Friday, to see if I can come on. Okay, so I will be on Friday at 10:30 a.m. Sometime between 10:30 and 10:40 a.m. If I didn't answer your question, definitely schedule a consult. That's preferred because then we can really screen and focus specifically on you. If you have a simple question, sure, join the live on Friday and I'll be happy to answer you. Again, my number here is 407-995-6567. WhatsApp is 404-333-8751. All right, guys, have an amazing day. Bye.